All right, news time. So,
Yeah.
we recorded a tad early last week, and what happens? The
As
internet
always.
loses its mind. Quantum Break. This is
Yeah.
a game that we should all be excited about because it looks amazing.
Yeah.
The new footage that's out, including IGN Zone. So a bunch of media folks went to Remedy in Finland. We sent a contingent. Sadly, none of us could go ourselves. Brought back a whole bunch of footage. Big preview. Played. Our folks played the first, I don't know, couple hours of the game. And the game looks phenomenal, but that's not what the internet wanted to talk about.
No, of course
that
not.
day.
What do they want to talk about? What happened?
They wanted to talk about the fact that Quantum Break is now coming to PC day and date.
Oh, I don't care.
Yeah, no one. Destin, why don't you care about this?
It's just that happens all the time.
Because if you
Yeah.
were to take a just snapshot of the internet, it seems like a lot of people really care about this, which I think is interesting.
I guess.
I'm on your side. I don't care.
It's not a big deal. I mean, Xbox One does definitely need more console exclusives where they only launch on their console. That would be great. But I don't think
Why?
it really impacts anything, and I don't really understand why the internet would be upset about this.
So there are a few big arguments that got thrown out that day. One of them was, well, why should I buy an Xbox?
Well,
If all these games are just
save
hitting
money.
So
PC?
dumb because that
Mitch,
argument,
take it away.
That argument is so thin because that argument then becomes, okay, this game is coming to Xbox, it's coming to PC. I own an Xbox. Why did I buy this thing if it's just going to come to PC? Most of the people who say that, I strongly suspect, are not going to play it on PC, especially since it's not coming to Steam, which is this whole other dumb thing that is actually worth talking about. But the notion that
Wait, how are you getting it then? Games
my
for
Windows
Windows?
Store, yes,
Oh.
the Windows Store. It's
That's terrible.
It is so preposterous to be angry about a game that you're excited about being accessible to more people.
Yeah, I don't know why that is.
Exclusivity and passion for a platform, I understand. But that is like at the expense of another person, that is not acceptable.
It's like when you were a kid and like you had a band that you liked that other people didn't really know about, and then when they got famous or hit mainstream, you're like, I don't like them anymore because they're successful. And it's like, why do you hate
They're on
that?
a different label now, so I hate them.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it's the same thing. It's like if you were going to play the game, you were going to enjoy it regardless of the platform, and now more people get to enjoy it. And if you are the type of person who, okay, you do have a PC, a gaming PC, and an Xbox, and now you have a choice, why is that a problem? How does that
well,
devalue one
and-
or the other?
Correct. And here's the thing: is why? All right, why buy an Xbox? Because a PC, the PC it would take to run Quantum Break as well or better than an Xbox One runs it, probably going to set you back $1,000 or close to it.
Yeah.
Oh, at least. Yeah.
So the Xbox One is a plug-and-play convenient solution that's $350
Yeah.
versus a PC that's more than double that.
Yeah.
So that I think, for me, that ends the so-called argument right there.
Got a question
when,
here.
when it comes to that. Yeah.
Do you think Microsoft made this decision because of what happened with Tomb Raider?
No.
No,
Because Tomb Raider launched Xbox only, then PC,
I've been saying
and it's coming to
for a
PS4.
year that Quantum Break is going to launch day and date on PC because
Yeah.
I imagine they've been thinking the same thing. It is a giant property for them. It is a big exclusive. They paid a lot of money for this. Remedy is a
Yeah, they've
developer
been funding
that
it
takes
for a
their
while.
time.
It
Yeah.
benefits.
yeah.
It benefits Microsoft to do this as well. PC, obviously, they have
own-
a vested interest
yeah.
in the PC market. Windows, despite Gabe Newell's protesting, is still like a primary PC platform, and it helps them to spread the IP to. It just makes the game more accessible to a larger audience. It makes them
Well-
more money. It makes gamers happy because they have a choice. And now you have an option to play it two ways. You could, play it on PC with mouse and keyboard if you like, or if you want, you can go controller, big screen TV in your living room and sit on the couch. Now you have options. Options are always good.
I feel like this shouldn't have caught anybody off guard because Microsoft changed their entire structure and culture a couple of years ago when Satya Nadella took over.
Yeah.
And they became a company that was about systems, services rather, and being where their customers are, wherever that may be, whether it's Office on an Apple device, or in this case Xbox on a Windows device. This was all laid out a year or two ago, And we've already seen the likes of ReCore, Halo Wars 2, I think Cuphead, and some other ones, other first-party Xbox exclusives that already have PC versions confirmed. And spoiler alert, probably, if they're not already, because I actually don't know this, but I'm guessing, Inside, Sea of Thieves, Crackdown 3, Gears of War 4, Scalebound, most, if not all of that, will probably also come to PC.
Yeah.
Look no further than Remedy's last game, Alan Wake. A game that was loved, was absolutely beloved by those that played it. It was an Xbox 360 exclusive. It came to Windows much later, and it didn't have enough success out of the gate to get a sequel off the ground, even though
Right.
Remedy said they wanted to make a sequel.
Yeah. And fans wanted it because the game was awesome.
And so they couldn't make that sequel, even though, and when it did come to PC later, guess what? It did pretty well. There were some like humble bundles and sales and stuff, but it sort of did find a second life on the PC. So I just don't understand the argument here. If you say, well, I should have just bought a PC and a PS4.
Okay,
Guess what?
Then do that.
Microsoft doesn't care.
Yeah.
They want they'll get your money whether you're playing Quantum
Did you
Break
play
on a
the game?
PC or an Xbox.
Does that PC have Windows on it? Great, don't care.
Also,
That's what they're thinking.
just who cares? Nobody cares that you're gonna play it somewhere else. Like if you're like, well, I'm gonna play it on PC. All right,
Have fun.
Do whatever you
Enjoy.
want.
You're gonna have a
It's
great
like-
time.
But don't take it away from other people. Like, don't try to ruin other people's excitement because for some reason you feel negatively affected
That's the
by
thing.
this thing being more accessible. It doesn't make any sense.
Console exclusives being like the most valuable thing is an archaic mentality in the digital age where all of this stuff is just accessible by virtue of the internet. Like we do just have devices. Like filmmakers have had to do it when they understand that their movies may not be seen in theaters but seen on iPads or on people's
Right.
computers, and it's like you can have those thoughts about, well, the cinema experience sitting in the theater is the best experience and I have them, but at the same time you can't harp on people for wanting to watch it on Netflix or in the comfort of their own home. And similarly, you can't fault people for wanting to be able to play whatever game on whatever device if it's there. The choice is never a bad thing. I'm
Right,
just gonna
exactly.
keep saying that.
Like, just play it wherever you want. Like, if you want to play it on your Xbox and it's still coming to Xbox, like, just because it's coming to PC doesn't mean you don't get to play it now.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean the game is
Or
gonna
it doesn't
be
make
worse.
it. Yeah, it doesn't make it worse. It's still the same game. It's just a matter of I was gonna say like it's just a matter of input, but maybe not even. You could if you play it on PC
you'd play with
or
an
console,
Xbox
you
One
could still play
controller.
with the controller if you want.
I think part of the reaction is also because kind of what I alluded to in the beginning of this segment was that Xbox users want to see Xbox One succeed, and they worry that this will be to the detriment of the platform. And like, I don't know if that's necessarily true. I mean, all the money is still going to Microsoft if you're playing it on Windows or Xbox One. But they're like, I want to have like that shining example on Xbox One to tout against the PlayStation
But
4.
Microsoft doesn't care. I think that
Microsoft doesn't care. The community does.
Certain
But the community
segments
still
of the
has
community.
that. They still have that game.
Yeah.
The game still isn't coming to PlayStation. You still get what you want. Like, I don't understand the notion that, like, because a console, from a business perspective, look at the word exclusive, right? Like, it's a console, it's an Xbox exclusive. Exclusive, by its nature, means exclusionary because it's not coming to PlayStation. The fact that it's coming to PC, which is a comparable platform to the Xbox One, it's something that is separate in terms of the PlayStation Store and the Xbox Store, but it's a Windows product. Like, it's a Microsoft game. They're going to sell it on their platforms, which is Windows, and they're going to continue to do so, like Ryan said. But just because they are excluding a certain portion of the audience in PlayStation doesn't mean that the audience who is anticipating that game should also be exclusionary of anybody else who is not them. You're not a cult. Dial it back.
And the secondary argument, which you already covered really well, was their concern that they're getting an inferior product on Xbox One. But that's simply not true. You have to
Not at
invest way more money to play the slightly better looking version on PC.
And if you've seen the system specs for PC Quantum Break, they're high.
And going off of that, I was gonna say, like, I'll bet you that because the game was designed and has been designed for Xbox One, I'll bet you that the PC version of it isn't that much better. Like, it'll be better because the hardware will be
no more
Right.
limitations.
But
Same game.
right, but the game was designed and built, and I presume, without any evidence, this is speculation, presumed to be ported or developed for in the later stage of his life for PC after this decision was made, or maybe it was
Well,
done from the very,
Of
very
course, the
beginning. I don't
secret
know.
is, I mean, Xbox Ones and PS4s are PCs, so there's
Yep.
Yeah, they run off
They're-
that architecture.
what?
Yeah,
They're-
So, 3DS games definitely made and tested on PCs.
right,
Yeah.
right. But what I mean is, like, you know, when you start, even with games that are designed on PC-like architecture for consoles,
Yeah.
at the beginning, they design them on machines that have the specs of the console, so
Right.
that they're not overshooting and then delivering a product that
That's
they
what
knew
a
they
dev
couldn't
kit
deliver.
is.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
But to my point, like, I try to put myself in the position of someone who might be angry about this by using an example that affects me the opposite way, which is, for instance, a game I've really, really wanted to play, but I don't have a PS4 or a PC at this point, is Firewatch, right?
I was going to bring this up. Go ahead.
I don't want to buy a PS4 yet because I don't think the games are there for me
Yeah.
personally. But the idea that it is on PS4 and PC is actually a good thing for me because then I do recognize, well, PC is something I wanted to build for a long time, and there are people out there who probably don't own a PS4 who have had PCs from prior gaming experiences who now have access to this game, which only helps the developer make more back on
Absolutely.
that. Which is it's just again,
Yeah, I mean,
having that choice is just a good thing, no
a
matter
lot
where you
of-
sit on the spectrum.
and what I'll just add to that is I hope a lot of people realize that many PS4 exclusives are also on PC.
Yeah.
Firewatch, The Witness, the Tim Schafer games that have come over.
Mm-hmm.
There is a pretty sizable list of the PS4's exclusives that are also on PC as well. This is not only a Microsoft practice that is happening with this. So this is just, I mean, Quantum Break coming to PC increases the odds of Quantum Break being a successful game by probably at least 50%,
Totally.
if not more. I mean, that's the bottom line. And
That's good because that company gets to make other games. Then.
yeah, if you
Or
want
sequels.
if you want Remedy to keep making games, this is a good thing.
Also, Sean, you have a PC at your desk. You could probably play Firewatch on your lunch break for a week and complete it. So if that's one that you're really
Yeah.
into, we have it on our Steam account. So check it out.
And the final point I wanted to make on this is I just think it's sad that the internet rage, and I'm not saying it's the majority, again, it's a loud contingent of people, that the internet rage over Quantum Break this past week totally shifted the conversation around Quantum Break away from the fact that it looks phenomenal, and it became a weird platform war instead of, wow, look how great Quantum Break looks. And that's an unfortunate disservice to, I think, the entire community for how good this
Yeah.
game looks.
I mean, one thing I've learned about working in this industry is like we're almost always dealing with the loud minority, right? Like the vocal minority. You step outside of the industry for a little bit, or you talk to someone who's into games but doesn't like read IGN or read our games on Reddit or whatever.
Right.
And they are saying Quantum Break looks cool, and that's the end of it. They don't really care or even know that it's coming to PC. So, I mean, it seems like people are, but on both sides, are just making mountains out of molehills. Like, I don't think this is actually a big deal, and I don't think a lot of people out there actually think it's a big deal. It's just this small group of people who are fervently advocating for, you know, Xbox One exclusives because they feel like it'll help them keep pace with PS4, which, again, even if you are one of those people, I don't really get why you care.
No. The real travesty here is that Microsoft is sabotaging this game on PC by not putting it on Steam.
Well, that's
That's
the
true.
part where you
Yeah.
could legitimately take
Yeah.
issue with, because what I said earlier about Microsoft repositioning itself as a services-based company, putting its products where customers want to be.
Guess what the number one
it's,
service
it's
is on
very
PC.
hypocritical for it to not. But I mean, there's kind of a give and take, right? Like, nobody's going to buy it on Windows Store if it's on Steam, and they're trying to get Windows Store off the ground, but you're also
But you're excluding the audience that
right.
wants to
you're
support you.
artificially crippling the potential PC
You know what
sales of
that-
the game by keeping it off of
Ubisoft's
Steam.
got it figured out because Ubisoft has its own store, its own launcher, its own everything with Uplay.
Yeah.
But you buy it through Steam and you verify it through Uplay, and it means you have to have Uplay because Ubi wants you to be involved. They want
Right.
you to register. It's good for them to have that. But you can launch the game, you can play it on Steam. It's a Steam game that just requires a little bit of verification. So if they did that, if Microsoft had a Windows game launcher or whatever to verify your purchases, to like it talk to Steam, that would make a lot of sense.
But
This
they
does
don't.
not.
Yeah.
This is nonsense.
But
and Ryan, I'm really
you know
looking forward
why.
to GDC for the third year in a row, where you and I sit at a panel where Phil Spencer says, "Guys, really, this is the year we really pretend to care about PC gaming." 3 years running, we're going to go to this Windows and Xbox relationship panel, and it's going to be
Same old.
just as interesting as it's always been.
You know why they do that? It's about sharing money. They're just like, we can have 100%
I was
profit
gonna
if
say
we
that
launch
though,
it
but like,
on
what
our own
is the rev
service.
cut? Like, I
Right.
can't imagine it's that big for Steam. There's a bunch of indie devs out there who
Well, I think
champion
it's
Steam.
70-30, just like it is on all the other major app services.
Yeah, and they
I'd
might see
venture-
it as like if they force everyone to use the Windows Store, they might make more money on fewer customers than they would if they sold more copies of the game on Steam and made less money.
I know another company that
Fair
does
point.
that same thing. Yeah, I think I don't know that. I don't know that that's a good strategy because Steam. I don't know. It's basically ubiquitous on the PC platform. Like everyone in the world who plays PC games plays on Steam or has a Steam account and is all about growing
My
their
mom
Steam
has a Steam
library.
account.
Yeah, like
Bagel.
it's plus it's all self-contained,
That's the
right?
one.
Like
That's
it's
when
not
I got a
just
Steam account.
it's
go
not
with
just the
PvP, man.
store, but it's also a community. It's also like a friends list that like persists. Like, I don't know. I mean, without I don't know that the store component is the most important thing. Like that Steam offers. Obviously, it's a big part of it, right?
Yeah.
But like, there's all this other infrastructure that Microsoft Store doesn't appear to have. That doesn't really allow for the gaming sort of experience to take hold the way it does on Steam. And if they want the Microsoft Store to be a real thing and people to legitimately buy this game in the Microsoft Store without it being available on Steam, they have to offer those services in a real way that isn't like gimped, that like actually works. Like you mentioned Ubisoft doing it the right way. They have to take like that dramatic of an approach to it.
Yeah.
Keep calm and Quantum Break on. That is the
Yes.
that is the message. Game's out April whatever, the first Tuesday in April.
Right around the corner, really.
Yeah, I'm super stoked about it. Can't wait to play it. I presume we're going to get to play it at the Xbox Showcase, which is happening next week already. Yeah.
Jeez, yeah, I think so.
Soon.
So I guess we'll have
Coming
like
soon.
sort of a pre-show on next week's episode, and then the week after we'll dive all the way into what we played, depending on whatever the embargo is that they set for it. So,
Because, yeah, we're all going to that, aren't we?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
we'll be there. All right, let's move on, Mitch.
Yes, sir.